45. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You've got a mic that works today. Yay. Welcome. Our invocation this afternoon is by Brock Fraser.
Thank you, Katie. Actually, I had kind of planned to have Deacon Tom Roberts here, one as our speaker, and I was going to also have him do our invocation. He had to bail on us, so I'm about the furthest thing from a deacon you can imagine, but I'll do my best. I'm going to preface this. I got the mic like past President Russ Swain does. I brought my soapbox today. I looked up the definition of an invocation, and this is what I can read. By definition is where leaders or those they serve bow their heads and their hearts and acknowledge what God already knows. We need him or her, and that we're seeking his presence in our gathering. And from conversation with a number of friends, the invocation is really pretty special to many of us. It's not a time for joking. It's not a time for going to the internet and finding a cutesy poem about butterflies and rainbows. It's about an invocation. So the second part of that is that I have always promoted the fact that we are a large club, and by that very nature, we're very diverse. There are a lot of us from a lot of different walks of life around here, and we celebrate that. I think that's what part of what makes us so strong. And I've encouraged, there's nothing politically incorrect when it comes to an invocation. I love when Annie Nuna gave us an invocation in French. When Michael Gordon delivered an invocation in Afrikaans and then interpreted it for us. Jerry Engel does beautiful Jewish invocations in Hebrew. Bahman recently delivered one in his faith. So, having said that, I'm going to lead with my faith base, my Catholic faith base, with the beginning of the prayer is something that we all are very familiar with in our faith. So if you'd like to join me by bowing your heads. In the name of the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit, bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. And Heavenly Father, help guide us, please, as we in our club, in our city, in our state, go about trying to improve lives and wherewithal for those not so fortunate as ourselves. May we also, at this time, bless the hands back in the kitchen that are preparing our meals, and those hands of those wonderful folks who serve us every week. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Our song leader this morning is Arlene Surwatt. Thank you for saying my name correctly. So I usually like to coordinate the song with our guest speakers, but I didn't know who was going to be here, so we're going to do the national anthem, and here is your note. Moses, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our sergeant at our hello. Hello? Now it works. Okay, thank you. Our sergeant at arms today is Jim Hunt, past president. And to Brock's point, I received a couple of angry emails after the invocation 2 weeks ago. I was told I should make a public apology. There are clubs that do not have an invocation or a song. I had one member go to the district governor and complain that they had been forced to pray and told what to say. I have been told we should do away with the invocation. That's not going to happen as long as I have a voice. I have asked Stu Lipa to help find people to do the invocation.
Just shut that one off for now.
I could put them together, they work again.
Just shut the mobile one off.
Hello? Okay, all right. So, in the middle of my thought, I asked Stu Lipa to help find people to do the invocation, and he has done so with great effort, care, and thought. Our goal has been to be ecumenical and to have invocations that were relevant, reverent, and thoughtful. While the beer prayer may not pass the reverent test, in no way was it meant to be mocking or disrespectful. I don't know of any religion that does not teach tolerance and forgiveness, something we could all use a lot more of. So, thank you. On with our meeting. Do we have international visitors today? No international visitors. Do we have visiting Rotarians? I don't see any hands. Do we have guests of Rotarians? Yes, Sarah.
We just use this one. Yes, sir, Rotary.
Hello, my guest today is my coworker Zora Asbury. Zora is a public relations specialist at my firm, and we saw her picture up here for a couple weeks with Katie at Channel 13. Zora helped with our centennial pitches.
Sarah? Well, so.
Today I have my son Dylan, who once again is with us, and my best friend who came in from St. Louis, J.D. Graham.
Thank you, Bob. Next, anyone else? Oh, back over here, Bob.
everyone. I have Michael Durham here. He is, I met him at a layout meeting, like you should.
Absolutely. I'm the client services director for Bad General Construction. We're a commercial general contractor in Las Vegas.
Welcome, welcome. All right, making my way across the room. to Brock.
Thank you, Jamie. We once again have a wonderful friend of mine, Ryan Schmucker, who's the annual giving manager for Care Chest.
Welcome. We're back on this side. Guess that's it. We'll get the microphone back to you. This is going to be a busy day.
Maybe we should just walk around together. I'd like to take a moment to introduce the head table today. We have Lydia Ansell, Justin Wu, Sarah Thornton, Zora Asbury, and our speaker chairman, Greg McGuire.
All right, Greg.
So,
Woo!
thank you. Okay. Our announcements today. Yes, oh,
Apologize, I didn't hear it. Guests of the club, we have Simran here for the second visit.
All right, Cimarron.
Simran.
thank you, welcome. Okay, David Jones.
Okay, where are you, David? There he is.
Look, tonight we're having this. Right there's the map. That's how you find your way. Put your camera right there and it'll get you there. When that QR code comes back up and talking, oh, there.
Oh my God, it's a mystery. Just turn it off. Turn it off. Turn this one off. Yeah.
So
You gotta turn that one off. Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead now. Now try.
testing, there we go. To find your way, point your camera at that QR code, there'll be a little thing, a little yellow thing, tap on that and it'll take you right to the map. So that's how you can find your way to the 25 Club. We have our graduation for those that are graduating from 25 Club tonight, combined with our focus on the foundation, the Las Vegas Foundation. So please come tonight, find out what the foundation does, how it operates, how it supports our club in almost all the things that we do. And it's at Suzette Weaver House, appreciate it. We're having Italian beef sandwiches. So bring dessert, bring soda, bring drinks, bring whatever you want to bring, just come, have a great time. It's in Henderson this time, so we're crossing over town and appreciate everybody and all your support. Thanks. Oh, and I've got to remember, Karen Wiesenhunt is also giving our historical sketch. Steve Casey is going to give the presentation on the Rotary Foundation, and then I'm going to do a graduation for 25 Club. And that's it.
Thank you, David. All right, David. Kirk Alexander, Captain. Not Captain Kirk, Kirk Alexander. Still not here. Okay, he was gonna talk about Super Bill, there it is. There you go. What else we got?
Jerry Sennis is not here.
Jerry Sennis,
Talk about the highway cleanup, it is also up there.
that is gonna be on the 10th, the highway cleanup, followed by a nice little brunch at Jerry's house, so I've got that covered for him. Next,
John Williams has an announcement.
John Williams is here in the flesh and blood, so we're gonna see him.
Well, the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation, we have our first major fundraiser for 20 some years. Well, second one, Jim Hunt went on. That was really great. We're having it on June 20th, Monday start. We were selected out of 320 foundations, 26 of us, always lucky enough. And I think we have 20 so people coming. Right now, we love to see everybody coming up. I think we have a lot of seats for 19th, I'm sorry. I should know that. But I do want to thank the Rotary. You know, we've done 11,500 wheelchairs. Most likely the Rotary has touched each one or gave out so far 250 this year or so, probably 1,000 before. That equals up to $2.8 million that we saved people in Nevada if they had to pay for a wheelchair. This is one employee, half a help in the Las Vegas Rotary. Thank you so much.
Mike Ballard here. Just a second, I want to interrupt.
I bought about 20 tickets for people in here that wanted to go. I have one extra ticket. It's $23.50. If somebody wants it, let me know.
Thank you, Tina. And you, Mike Ballard, I did not see Mike Ballard. Okay.
It's a secret.
Ah,
No, I'm too bad he's not here to talk about the demotion part. That means I get to stay. We have an induction today. Melanie and Annie and Leah.
All right, fellow Rotarians, on behalf of the membership committee, it is my privilege to induct a new member to our club, Leah Roberts. Annie Nuna is the sponsor. I'll ask Annie to introduce Leah to our club, and then Leah will say a few words to the club as well.
Thank you.
I'm happy to introduce my friend Leah Roberts. Leah Roberts was born in Bucharest, Romania. She graduated from the University of Bucharest in 1972 with a degree in geology and a master in geotechnological engineering. She emerged via marriage to the United States with her son in 1979. She got involved in politics as soon as she stepped on the soil of the United States and it became the love of her life. She worked on campaigns helping candidates get elected from the courthouse to the White House. Leah worked every step of the way and ultimately got elected as the chairman of the Nevada Republican Party. Over the years, Leah was appointed by Governor Kenny Quinn on the Taxi Cab Commission and was elected twice by her peers as chairman of the commission. Governor Gibbons selected a list on his transition team and also on the Judicial Selection Commission. And later, due to her expertise in geology, he appointed her to the Nevada Nuclear Project Commission. She was reappointed by Governor Sandoval and Sisolak, and she is still a member of this commission. Leah was considered twice on the short list of the ambassador of the United States to Romania. Her activities did not stop to politics only. She was deeply involved in the community with many aspects, but also in the life of the Romanian community. She was appointed in February 1998 as an honorary consul general to Romania with the approval of the U.S. Department of State. She did not forget her country at birth, Romania, and helped her native country to emerge from the dark era of communism, helping it to get the necessary vote for Romania acceptance in NATO. Though Romania became U.S. strongest ally in Europe, Eastern Europe. She received numerous medals of recognition, one standing out being of the Grand Officer. Oops. Leah wanted to take the learning process of what democracy was a step further, to teach people of Romania to fight and live by the principles of true democracy and run for the highest office for president of Romania. Due to very high degree of corruption, she did not pursue the race, but she was running third all the way. Back to Nevada, she continued to support Republican candidates, being heavily involved in Congressman Gibbons' campaign for governor, which he won, and Leah being appointed to him as the chairman at the inaugural ball. She continued her mission as president of the Parish Council of St. George Romanian Orthodox Church in regard to working hard to obtain the building permit for the church to which she donated in the year 2000 a parcel of 2.5 acres in the Isle of Town, Charleston and John Boulevard. The building was completed in 2013, and it is the most beautiful little church Byzantine style. She was recognized twice by the Patriarch of Romania, which is the highest medal ever awarded to a woman. Currently, she was involved in the cultural life of Las Vegas. She was twice the chairwoman of the Opera Ball in 1998 and 99. And another one of Leah's passion is classical music. She lived in Bucharest next to the National Concert Hall. In 1998, she became involved with the Las Vegas Philharmonic in anticipient stages and ultimately become a member of the board of trustees. Leah hosted in her house over the years events of dignity such as future U.S. President, U.S. Senator, Congresswoman, and man, Secretary of State of Florida, Ambassador, Consul General, writers, concert pianists, poets, many events of candidates for local races, future President of Romania. Leah is proud citizen and continue to be engaged in the vibrant life of Las Vegas and the state of Nevada. And now I present to you Leah Roberts.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Annie. First of all, I would like to thank you for, oh my goodness, thank you for inviting me months ago to attend the meetings of the club. And I have to tell you that I did belong to a club before for about 10 years. It was the Las Vegas club that met at the Las Vegas Country Club. That club was dissolved at one point in time. And I was kind of floating in the air, wishing very much to become, to join another club, another Rotary club, until Annie invited me and she said, oh, where did I go? So finally I made it a few months ago because I have a little busy schedule like she does. I don't surpass her, but I do have a little busy schedule. So I made it here. So I have a few friends here that I have met at the club that I've known over the years. One of them is Jerry Engel and Carolyn Sparks. And if Michael Gordon is the one that I know, his former honorary consul of Botswana, I think it was, or something like that. I think I know a few people here, and I know, of course, Katie for a long time, and Melanie now recently, and of course, I look forward very much, to meet each and every one of you and work with you, and go to all kinds of events together, participate, and again, I'm very proud to become a member of this club, and again, Annie, I cannot thank you enough for being the sponsor and my dear friend that you always have been, and being a member of the oldest club in Las Vegas. And I also look forward to give you the invitation one day in Romania. I'm very honored to be here today, and thank all of you for listening to all this long list of things that I try to do. And I consider myself a professional volunteer because everything that I have done and do, it's exactly that, volunteering. And God was very, very, very good to me. And that's the reason I'm doing it, because I try to give back as long as I'm still walking this ground. I try to give back what was given to me by our Creator. Thank you very much.
As Leah mentioned, she was a previous member of the Las Vegas Central Rotary Club. So now the Las Vegas Rotary Club has accepted you as a person of good character, high ethical standards, and as one who has a heart for service. Thank you for accepting the invitation of the members of this club to rejoin in the worldwide fellowship and service work of Rotary. We would hope that you will give this club the benefits of your previous Rotary experience to further strengthen the fellowship of this club to help us serve even more effective this community in wider fields of Rotary service. We know that we will receive much from you in help and service, which will enable us to be better Rotarians. And we most heartily offer you the right hand, our Rotary Fellowship. Rotarians, if you would stand up and join me. You're being given a Rotary pen by your sponsor, by which your fellow Rotarians and the community will recognize you as a Rotarian. We will ask that you wear it proudly. With that, it is our pleasure and honor to congratulate you on being inducted as the newest member of the Las Vegas Rotary Club, the best Rotary Club in the universe.
Leah, it's a pleasure to have you as a member of the club, and it's going to be hard to keep up with you. Russ Swain isn't here today, but he's going to have some competition, because he also likes the microphone. What? Oh, there you go. You are here. You're so quiet. I didn't know you were here. Welcome.
Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Annie, Melanie, and each and every one. Thank you.
Okay, we have birthdays today too. Jim, you want to come? Oh, it's your birthday too, huh? You're gonna have a working birthday. You sing to yourself.
I was gonna say, I'll sing to myself. Happy birthday to me. So we do have the birthday people. Who's gonna sing though? Do we have anyone? Arlene. Oh, Sidra. Where's Sidra? Right, Sidra? Are you gonna come?
We have to introduce them.
Oh, okay, we're gonna have everybody introduce themselves. We'll start here.
It's just all about him.
I don't know which way to turn.
My name is Gary Voss. I'm a native Las Vegan, native Nevadan. I joined the club in 1976. That was the BW, that stands for Before Women. And the Neanderthal age of Rotary. Currently, I'm finishing up the term as president of your Las Vegas Rotary Foundation, which is my pleasure to serve. A little side story. A lot of people end their birthday presentation by saying they've been a member of Rotary and they enjoyed every minute of it. We had a president named Ted Weeds who said, if you finish up your presentation by saying I enjoyed every minute of it, I'm going to fine you $100. So we got pretty creative. We'd say things like, well, we haven't enjoyed every minute of it, but we've enjoyed a lot of it. Anyway, it's been fun.
Hello, everyone. I'm Janice Lemke, and I have a milestone birthday coming up. I'll be 60 on Monday. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying my age. But in my mind, I'm 35. But I've been a member since 2011 and just a proud member, so thank you.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I'm Tom Crow. Past president, 2000, 2001. I've been a member of this club for 42 years, and Janice and I have the same birthday, although I'm 73 this year.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. As usual, I seem to be following Tom Crow because I did that as president of the club right after he was done in 2001, 2002. It was my honor to be the chairman of the Santa Claus Committee for 15 years and be part of all 25 of the first 25 years. And we're now going on 28, I think, so we're still going strong. I love being a part of this club. I love everybody in it. Let's laugh, let's make it light, let's enjoy, and have a good time in this club if we can.
Okay, so there's an empty seat here, and there's a few people who have birthdays who aren't sitting there. Fine. Okay, Ginger's not here, Mike Ballard's not here, Nikki Bates is not here, Tom Booker's not here, Barbara Castro, I did see. Okay, she gets fine. David Chu, we're missing. Howie Hopkinson, not here. Jim Hunt is here. Ben Klink is not here. Eric Kruger. Ryan Moon. Gary Nelson. She is. She is. Thank you for your contribution. Bob Peiser's not here. Jackie Thornhill's not here. Well, we'll sing happy birthday to those who are here. Everybody join in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, Sylvia. And happy birthday, everybody. I'd like to take a minute and thank everybody who helped today. For setup, Kathy Mahan, as usual, Liz Rothwell, our greeters, Eric Schimmeler, Debbie Howard. Our ticket sales were not Bob Peiser, Aaron Campillo, and I am Bruce Brazy helped sell tickets. Thank you, Bruce. Our photographer, Jim Tucker. Our scribe today was Antoinette, who stepped in at the last minute. Thank you for that. And Austin Wyrick and David Jones for AV. It was really Stu. You're not taking credit for this. I don't blame you. Our cleanup today, Michael Williams and Rod Tucker. So thank you all. Our drawing today, the pot is up to 2216. That was at the end of our last meeting. And the ticket to draw for the Joker is 6318104. It's always somebody in the back of the room. All right. 6318104. Steve, you are lucky. And a ticket for $50 in Lowry bucks, 6318003. 003, anybody? Should anybody draw another one? 003? Oh, good. Congratulations. We have about 10 minutes for fellowship before I have
Sarah introduce our speaker. Okay, Sarah says we need a few extra minutes, so I'm gonna have Sarah Thornton come up and introduce our speaker today. Thank you, President Katie. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce our guest speakers today. I know they're gonna be so interesting. We're gonna have so many questions, even I have questions. And we can see their bios in the program today, but these two people that are going to be talking to us, there's so much more than even just what they're talking about today. I've known them both, Lydia and Justin, for several years, and I have seen their generosity. They are the embodiment of the four-way test for sure. Multiple businesses, a tech entrepreneur, an entertainer. This is not even their primary thing that they do. They do so much for our community. We were just talking about among their businesses, they own a pet bed company and are donating 1,300 pet beds to nonprofits here in Las Vegas, animal nonprofits. So if you have an animal nonprofit that you'd like to receive some of them, they can help you. Am I okay? Also, multiple businesses. I nominated them for the Angel Awards this year. This was the recipient of the Angel Awards, the foundation, a couple of years ago. Very proud. And just really love not only the couple, but the individuals they are, and for all the wonderful things they do for our community. So please help me welcome Justin Wu and Lydia Ansel.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Greg and President Katie, for having us. Thank you, Rotary members, for having us as well. It's a little bit of an interesting story. I moved here in 2015 to this great city, and I had the chance to see all the wonderful things that the city was about in terms of philanthropy by going to all of the galas and great, events that we have here in the city. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was to create something, an entity in the area that would be able to help out our local community. So in 2020, I created a nonprofit called Vegas Helps. And the purpose of Vegas Helps was to do little things for people in the community, around $500, we would see people that needed food, a mom that was having a new baby that needed, diapers, new swallowing pads, bottles for their upcoming baby, there was an elderly couple that had a house and it didn't have a rail, so we built, a rail for their house so that they wouldn't fall off the back of their house. Also numerous like Christmas gifts to, some people in the community as well. But one interesting thing happened out of this is, in 2020, I was talking with a company that's a lab in Houston, Texas, and they said, we're doing some interesting things with DNA and helping to solve cold cases around the country. Would you help us by doing one of these cases? And I said, yeah, with the condition that I live in Las Vegas, I want this case to be in the city of Las Vegas. So fast forward to early 2021, we ended up solving a double murder homicide in Las Vegas through the use of DNA. So to give you a little bit of background about how this works, if you're unaware of how the cold cases work, this case I think was in the 1980s. So the detectives in Las Vegas couldn't take the DNA that they had stored on, in their evidence locker and find somebody that was in what they call CODIS, or the criminal database. And so this DNA has sat in the evidence locker all of these years. The company Othram in Houston, Texas helped us to kind of examine the DNA in a different way. They take the DNA, they resequence it using cutting edge technology, and they use a database of what now you guys all know as 23andMe or Ancestry.com. It's a genealogical database, and so you can take your DNA out of 23andMe or Ancestry, you can submit it to another database, and that database is used to help solve crimes across the United States. So that goes anything from a murder to a missing person. That's what that opt-in database is for. So, when we started to work with LBMPD, they had some of these cases, but they had the DNA, and they said, hey, we would really love for you guys to come forward and re-examine the DNA to help us to find these people. Well, in 2021, we ended up solving 2 cases. In 2022, we ended up solving another 2 cases. In 2023, we ended up solving another 2 cases. So I said, this is a really, really great thing for the community. Let me get together people that I know, community leaders, people that love this city as much as I do. When we formed what we call the Vegas Justice League, and we've been working with Henderson PD, North Las Vegas PD now, Las Vegas Metro PD, and as well as the coroner's office to help identify everything from missing persons now to additional cold cases and murder cases in the city. So we're very glad to be able to give back to the community. I got to meet the parents of one of the victims from 1982, Stephanie Isaacson, at it was a city council meeting, and it was probably one of the most memorable things in my life to be able to see these parents that said, I've been crying every day for the past 30 years of my life. And thank you for helping to bring closure for us. So let my wife talk a little bit.
Gosh, there's so many things that different parts in this, and I see eyebrows raising questions and stuff. So I'll kind of touch on some parts of it, and then I'll go to a different section. So with these cases, for example, the one that Justin just referenced, the Stephanie Isaacson case, this was a case that it was from over 30 years ago, and the mother of the daughter had continually tried to get this solved. And as Justin mentioned, the technology wasn't there. So they actually tried over 2 other times that we know of to use the DNA to try to solve the case. And every single time that you do testing of the case, the DNA is used up and there's very little left. So by the time that it kind of came around to us, it was considered unsolvable because there was too little of a sample left. And we kind of, maybe from being rather naive or maybe just being very hopeful, we're like, give us the case anyway, let us prove ourselves. We know this lab is amazing. They've been solving cases all over the US and now internationally. They gave it to us and they broke the world record for the smallest amount of DNA used, and they solved the case. And not only did they solve that case, but it ended up solving 2 other cases because it was a serial killer. So it was incredible. And the chance for these cases to basically, we're making our community safer for everyone. We're giving closure.
And it's, you know, a relatively small thing that, you know, Justin and I found that we could do to contribute to make such a huge difference. And so Justin came up with the idea of Justice League, where he said, well, I have other friends who would love to, you know, be involved in this. The lab basically told us they would give us a lifetime offer of $5,000 is what it costs to fund the solving of a case. And then they're like, and we'll solve your cases. They found it so simple. So we rounded up a few friends, and we Justin came up with the name, the Biggest Justice League, and we said, give us 10 cases. And through this, we've been, you know, each person who joined the league basically was someone who contributed to one case, but we did it as a pool so that each solve is a solve for everyone. And then we added kind of like a community solve. So anyone who wanted to go on through Vegas Helps, they could put in $10, $20, whatever, but you know, it's a community spot for everyone to be a part of it. And it's been so incredible to just, you know, be able to give back in such an impactful way. And do you want to elaborate on that part?
Sure. So you can go onto the website, and each member of the community, you can donate as little as $10. We actually had a wedding in 2022, and in lieu of gifts, yeah, we asked all of the people that attended, and instead of giving us toasters and whatever people give these days, to donate to the thing, and we ended up getting enough to solve another to fund the solve of another 3 additional cases. So we're hoping in the future that, like, as we work with this, that the technology and the idea of the community can come together, the small amount of resources that those people put in and they gather as a pool, each one of them goes to help Las Vegas Metro or the different law organizations in Southern Nevada to solve these cases. And, it's amazing. We went to LV Metro PD, and they have 2 rooms that are literally wall to ceiling or floor to ceiling of these black binders with numbers on them. And each one of those represents a cold case in Southern Nevada or in the Las Vegas Metro jurisdiction. And, our goal is to one day, with, the community, with the support of the gaming industry and different, other corporations in Southern Nevada, to close out those cases. And as we work through the backlog of those cases, we're getting to cases that are, recent cases where we'll actually be removing potential serial killers off the streets of Las Vegas. So that is our goal, and that's what we hope to, to continue to do to make the city safer.
Yeah, and it's not just with Las Vegas Metro PD. We've reached out, so we have a lot of cases pending. We've learned that it's a very patient process. The very first case that we solved, granted it was the smallest amount of DNA, but that took 7 months. A few of the cases were a lot faster, but it's kind of, so we put a couple kind of in the hopper, so to speak. And we have several cases pending. We have some with Henderson PD, with North Las Vegas, with a majority, I would say, is with Las Vegas Metro PD. And then we reached out recently to the coroner's office because as a side project, we reached out to them about funding basically for unidentified John Doe and Jane Does. And that's kind of like a preliminary process before you can find who the alleged murderer is. You have to find out who the person is. And in our amazing city and community, there still are some unidentified people out there. So that's another project that we just added on in another relationship. Do you want to talk about that part?
So that started with, you've all heard about the Lake Mead barrel case. We reached out to Las Vegas Metro PD and said, give us the DNA from the barrel. We can tell you who the person in the barrel is. So through the bureaucracy of the coroner's office, we're hoping that one day we'll be able to do that. They haven't given us that case yet, but they did give us 6 other cases of the many that they have for us to help identify the remains of bodies that are found throughout the city that they can't, through the investigative means, figure out who the person is.
So yeah, a little bit of a morbid kind of angle on lunch, so we apologize for that. But the main basic idea is just, Vegas has been such an incredible community to both of us individually and together. And this has just been our way that we found, another way that we found to be able to give back and to, just all do our part in making it a better community as you have all done.
So I'll open it up. I know that some of the topics about the DNA I may not be able to answer the questions about, but like I would love to answer questions.
I'll take advantage of that microphone. So, thank you for what you're doing for the community. It's really important. I sat in on a OLLI presentation, UNLV, it's an evening thing for adult education. So they talked in this particular session about the John Benet Ramsey case in Boulder, Colorado. And what they suggested is the Boulder police are deliberately holding on to DNA or not releasing it, allowing it to be analyzed. And I don't know if you know anything more about that. And you mentioned something about the coroner holds. In fact, is that more common that the police departments, for any one of a number of reasons, are unwilling to allow that DNA investigation to go on?
So in general, yes, this is a new thing. So when we started this in 2020, and we walked into like any place like Las Vegas Metro, they would kind of say like, "Are you joking? We don't really understand. Who are you? We don't understand, what it is that you guys are doing," and send us an email about this. Now we've been in so many medias, from like the New York Times to the review journals like Las Vegas Weekly to the BBC. The story of what we've done has hit all of these law enforcement agencies, and now when we go to any of them around the country, they know what we've done, and they're very more receptive to doing this. So there is a little bit of a, I guess, there's politics, there's territorialism of how this DNA works and how these the evidence is, I guess, distributed. In every law enforcement agency, they want to be the ones that like work this and solve these cases. And even in Las Vegas Metro PD, when we started to work with them, they had one part-time retired detective that worked on all of the cold cases in Las Vegas. And since we've worked with them now, they have 5 full-time detectives, people that have been budgeted and assigned to doing this. So they're big believers in what we do in this process, and we're hoping as time goes on, other agencies kind of see the model that we've produced here in Las Vegas and use that to help to solve the cold cases. Las Vegas, it has one of the highest rates. I think it's in the 96th to 98th percentile of cold case closes, so it's one of the top in the entire nation.
I would just add that, one of the reasons they may not want to give DNA to any cases, as we found, they use up the DNA every time they test it. So they have to be extremely careful about who they trust to give it to, because that could be the last chance. And so that's, one of the fears. And also they don't want to just give it to, one of the things we heard when we reached out and offered to fund the solve for the Lake Meat Barrel identification, we saw that a lot of people were kind of jumping on this. It got a lot of media attention, whatever else. And so they have the job of protecting, there's a chain of command, there's a, they want to make sure that people have the right intention, that no one's just trying to do it for the wrong reasons or, get involved in investigation. If they start talking about things that could ruin future results. Sarah, I think I saw you had a question.
Thank you. So you receive the cases from Metro and they request, so how do they pick the cases? The ones that have the most available DNA?
So Metro picks the cases based upon them actually having, if they have DNA that can be reworked. It's not based on any kind of timeline, because we've gotten things from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s. Different cases, so they're not selecting them based on race or any other factors. One of the parts that I missed about this, so in the new way that we're analyzing this forensic DNA, kind of how it works would be when they take that DNA of the perpetrator and they get that like the DNA profile, before, if they didn't find that in the criminal database, that was kind of like the dead end for them. Now, what ends up happening is, because they have that like genetic like tree mapping and the genetic database, they can go and find somebody's great uncle, and using that information, they provide that lead back to LVMPD and the detectives there, and they can kind of trace the family tree back and say that there was a father, he had 3 sons, and one of them lived in Las Vegas during the period of time that this murder happened. go and take a look at that. And so the detectives will do things, and many of the times, because these cases happened in the 1970s and 80s, these perpetrators no longer live in the city of Las Vegas. So the detectives have to do a lot of work where they, fly around the country, like trying to do match DNA samples to do that part of the detective work. And that's why even after they get the lead from us and doing the DNA processing and sequencing, there's a whole other process of the detective work that has to happen after that for them to match up the DNA and then get the one-to-one match, which is odd. It's like sometimes they go out to some city in Texas, they find the perpetrator, they'll stake out the house, they'll find the McDonald's cup in the garbage. They get that and they can identify that that's the match from that, and then they will get all the proper warrants and whatever to arrest the person. And then at that point, that perpetrator usually ends up saying okay, you got me after all of these years, because the evidence is millions to one that's them.
But a basic answer of your question, we're not exactly sure how they choose. We know that they find cases that have DNA. That's the #1 requirement. And besides that, we put no stipulations on it. We just basically said, give us something that you want solved, and they choose.
We have 2 people, we'll hit you both. Oh, thank you. We'll get to you.
Yeah, I wanted to know, are these public databases just forking over information about you? Because there's a lot of us that might not want our DNA floating around just in case we're gonna do something shady.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
So absolutely not. Like when you go to 23andMe or Ancestry.com, that data is not being used for the criminal database. How it works is you can, opt out the data from 23andMe, take your DNA profile, and people have submitted it to an additional database. So they opted into the criminal database or the genetic database that's being used, and that's what's being used to solve these crimes. But enough people around the country have done this at this point that it's very, very comprehensive. If they're going to find your third cousin or somebody in your family has potentially put their DNA into this secondary database.
So reasons people would do that, if you're wondering why, is if they're, they had a missed loved one, or they've been trying to find someone, or maybe someone they knew had something terrible happen to them, and they want to help with the investigation. They submit the DNA to it, and then these the company is constantly building these genetic maps. But basically, it's not just like a random, we're gonna find McDonald's cups and find you guys. It's literally all done through investigation beforehand. And once they have a one-to-one idea of oh, we think Justin is a suspect, then they go and they get the one-to-one DNA sample with a warrant, with everything, with investigations. But as a whole, if you're drinking your coffee, you're doing whatever, your DNA is safe.
Running around today, you got Steve. So if I'm understanding this right, you got the police department, got these cold cases, and you're going to them and then taking the information to a lab. Why do they need you? Why doesn't the police department just go straight to get the DNA thing done?
So to answer your question, why does the police department, why does LV Metro PD need us? I think that it's a little bit of a budgetary thing, because now LVMPD actually has their own budget to do a lot of the same thing that we're doing, to do that $5,000 or whatever dollars to basically fund the genetic mapping and then the forensic research to develop this case. And I think that, when we started, they just didn't have it because they didn't believe in it or they hadn't done it before. Now the fact that we've done it and proven it, they actually have a budget that's allocated to that. But then, from our standpoint, I think it's they kind of like that the community is getting involved, that we're helping them with that, because, they have so many things that they need to spend, and we would almost rather them utilize the money in their own budgets to hire more detectives rather than to pay for the genetic research. It's something that we can easily do. And, we as an organization, we don't ever touch any of the DNA. It's basically transferred from LV Metro PD directly to the lab. It's all completely secure. The only thing that we do is we like allocate the funding. We say like, hey, please send 5 more cases, or we'll sponsor 5 more cases, or you guys work it out with the lab, and the information's passed back and forth.
You're basically expanding your budget by bringing.
Yeah, we're kind of filling the gap of something that we can do, and then like we would actually probably prefer, because of the fact that there's a limited amount of resources, that they would get more detectives, because if anything, that's what we've seen is that backlog. It takes a long time for them to do that detective work and get everything in order, because of the cases that we've solved, the 3 perpetrators that we found have all been passed. We're coming up, as we come up to the newer cases, those people are probably still alive, either living in the city or living in another city in the US. So it's going to be a whole different thing where it's got to go through the court system. The DA has to have that information and all of the evidence, and it has to be airtight, that they can't go and beat this when they when they go to court.
We had one over here, Mike.
Thank you, sir. And thank you both for your presentation. We really appreciate you guys here today. So you had mentioned earlier that you don't use the Ancestry.com databases to cross-reference. A few years back, they collected DNA from all the military. Now, do you know if that DNA is being used in the cross-reference? I may have to take on a new ID. That's why I'm asking.
So that one I'm not sure of, but I'm pretty sure that they don't just give the military database or whatever to this, like, I guess this criminal missing persons database. Like, one of the databases they have, I think it's called NamUs. And so that one is used, that database is used to identify missing persons. So like a lot of people, sometimes you unfortunately have a child and they go missing and they're somewhere in the country. People will take their DNA and submit it to the database in hopes that one day they'll be able to find their son or daughter or whatever it is. So like as that grows, that's that. But I'm 99% positive that that's not automatic through the military, that they've given that.
And I've read some articles and stuff of basically police departments and things, that there's been legislation basically protecting even more now that there's more technology out there, protecting people's DNAs and their personal information. And even just with investigations with, like Google can track where your phone is and all that type of stuff, and how a police does an investigation. So there's a lot of protections out there. There's, for the most part, these mappings also, they're kind of the first step of an entire investigation. So unless, let's say, I committed a crime and they found through my brother that, it's a possible match, that still doesn't mean any kind of, like, they still have to do the process. So the lab would say, oh, we have the DNA of Lydia's brother, and it looks like Lydia was in Las Vegas at the time of this murder. You guys need to investigate her. So they'll check out and see if I was in town. They'll see if, the one-to-one DNA matches, all the things together, and it all together is an investigation. It's not just an automatic solve because our DNA is related.
So this is more of a personal question, curiosity. So my boys were young years ago, and I took into a nonprofit organization and got hair, one hair with follicles, just in case they were to get lost or kidnapped. But I always remember that the person told me that make sure you put it in the freezer to preserve it. But then I see all these stories or people talking about decades later, they still have DNA. So pretty much my question is, what's the lifespan of a DNA sample, and does it deteriorate over time, and what's the comparison there to a fingerprint where if you only get 5 out of the 8, it's good, or, in that aspect?
Sure, so I don't know exactly what the DNA, but I know that there have been even cases in Texas where before they, like the DNA really came around in like the 1980s, where they could actually use the DNA to help solve cases. But even prior to that, law enforcement magically was really good at preserving evidence. So it was a matter of like taking clothing or different things and packaging it well and keeping it kind of safe from the elements. So for the most part, a lot of those things, we've seen cases that have lasted, 100 years, 200 years, theoretically in the right environment. Obviously, in some of these cases, I've heard of, evidence lockers or things where they have it and then like there's a flood and it gets flooded. That's where like you would have DNA degradation and different things like that. But for the most part, like even just keeping the evidence and keeping it inside of the sealed bags and whatever they have it in, keeps it safe for potentially hundreds of years.
So I know a lot of the funding for the cold cases are done by the volunteers of the Vegas Justice League. Are there ways that the community, if they were interested in helping, that they could go and maybe donate money to you guys or help you in some way?
Let me ask kind of a follow-up question to that. You got into this because of your tech background, correct?
It's not really as much of the tech background. The tech, I guess, being in tech afforded me the ability to be a philanthropist, and that was more of being a philanthropist is more of a thing. And that I live in the city. I want the city to be safer, and I want the community to thrive. As all of you do. So that was more of it. The tech component of it isn't really even what we do. We do I guess it's more of a creative project and the fundraising component. So as I go and get different people around the community to contribute the $5,000, or even doing publicity and like somebody will see it on the news, they'll go to the website and they'll donate $10. That's all accumulated into amounts that we can go and solve additional cases. The website is vegasjusticeleague.com.
Or Vegas help stuff on it, that's easier. We know that you have limited times and busy schedules, so we'll stick around a little bit more if you have questions that you want to come up to us, but thank you for having us. We appreciate all that you're doing. And
I want to thank you both for being here. It was a really interesting presentation. We have for each of you our Soul Power Award, which represents a pair of shoes to a needy child in your name. And we also have a copy of our centennial book for each of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And also, you're going to be doing this speech at the Mob Museum on Tuesday. Tell us about that.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's from 7 to 8:15, and you can sign up. They're going to be talking about this at the Mob Museum with investigators from Metro at a panel discussion about cold cases on Tuesdays from 7 to 8:15 in the evening, and you can sign up on the Mob Museum's website. It's going to be fun. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.